Hello and welcome to another episode of What's Treading. My name is David. I am the editor of Tire Review, and today I am in studio with Chris Rhoades. He is the Vice President of OTR at BKT. Chris, thanks for making the long journey to come to the office today.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Absolutely. You're just right down the street.
5-minute drive.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So I wanted to ask you, earlier this year, BKT made an announcement on its ag side saying that it was going to have a special marking on those tires, an E-ready marking appropriate for electric vehicles in that industry. Do you see a need for the OTR side for that kind of marking on tires?
Eventually, we announced the AgriMax Factor, which is a 70 series tire for the tractors and the ag side. Things we had to look for in redesigning the tires were the weight. EV batteries can be up to 30% more weight. You also have increased torque to the engines, so we had to revisit the bead area, make sure it has a good grip on the rim, as well as rolling resistance, because you can lose up to 20% energy on the ground contact. So those are the considerations we had to do for the ag side. As far as electrification goes in the earth-moving market, both Caterpillar and Sandvik, because they have in production LHDs, load-haul dumps, used in underground mines. In underground mines, emissions play a big role because there's a certain cap underground. So the less emissions, the more machines they can run. So they're there, and they're also prototypes now on the haulage side. So we're taking that under study right now. Nothing to announce just yet, but looking at what their needs are for the earth-moving market. Gotcha.
No, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're talking about emissions in a underground
closed space.
For sure. Kind of brings me to my next question. When you're kind of talking about this kind of these newer vehicles and newer technologies being incorporated into them, where do you see autonomous landing in the OTR space? And do autonomous vehicles in that space require special sets of tires?
Yeah, it's not just recent. Autonomous vehicles have been used over 10 years, billions of tons moved. US, Canada, and especially Australia are the large markets for it. Right now, the machines that Cat and Komatsu look at are usually the 240-ton and 400-ton haul trucks, and they're currently just using the normal production tires for that. As far as our play in the market, we've recently released a 4000 R57 and the 4690 R57 tires that goes on the 240-ton trucks. Late next year, we should be announcing our 63-inch entry into the 400-ton market. At this point, those size of machines aren't electrified. So same thing as the last question, taking a look at what the needs are, but the autonomous space is definitely exciting.
Gotcha. I would imagine it is. So let's just talk about overall demand. What are you seeing in the Americas, particularly in the OTR sector? What are your customers asking for?
Yeah, OTR demand, first half of 2023 is a little sluggish due to just general economic factors, inflation, interest rates, and even weather. It was a slow start in a lot of the dirt moving applications. Also, during COVID, BKT, we didn't cut production or shipping due to extra cost or labor force considerations. We played everything safe on the protocols. However, some other manufacturers did pull back on their production and shipping. By the end of last year, a lot of that had caught up, which a lot of our dealers had a flood of inventory coming in on back order. So a lot of dealers started out 2023 with excessive inventories that they've had to work through. So by second half, a lot of that's been rectified and the new normal's back in play. But as far as the overall mining and aggregate sector, it's still strong, flat if not up a little bit. And this year, we've also expanded our capacity at our plants for the 25-inch tires to meet the demand.
Very nice. And are you anticipating, looking to next year, that demand to kind of stay steady, flat, if not up a little bit, or a major change in either direction?
No major changes on the horizon. It is an election year, so that's always fun to see what's going on. For sure. As far as, it's a very competitive market with new players entering every day. So I think the demand will stay strong, but it should be better than 2023.
Gotcha. I wanted to ask you about sustainability. It's a huge buzzword in a lot of different industries right now, not just tires. How are your customers in the OTR sector, how are they looking to be more sustainable? Are they trying to do that? Do they have concerns over sustainability when they're ordering these just ginormous tires? Is that more difficult for them to be sustainable, or?
Fun thing to do, if you go to any major mining companies or aggregate producers website, take a look at their website. Everybody's got their own statements on sustainability and what they're trying to accomplish for that. And of course, tires play a big role in that. BKT's launched or even rebranded a new initiative called for sustainability, Leaf Our Energy. And again, as a manufacturer, we take a look at every step along the manufacturing process, from acquiring raw materials to the finished goods, to see what we can do to reduce waste and increase efficiencies. One of the highlights and keystones of BKT is we're the only tire manufacturer that actually has our own carbon black manufacturing plant. Approximately 30% of a tire's weight is carbon black, and we meet 100% of our requirements out of our own plant on that. And not only does this enhance our abilities for supply, cost, and quality, but it's greatly impacted our sustainability efforts that we want to showcase to those mines. Here's just a list of impacts. You reduce the amount of fossil fuels and emissions for the transportation and import. Since we don't have to acquire and ship that across the lanes, in-house, those are reduced. How we create a carbon black, we actually buy waste petrochemicals from refineries. So we give them a way to close their loop, so that waste is being used. And then in the creation of the carbon black, we capture all the off gases from cooking it, and we feed that through pipes into our tire manufacturing plant. So all that spin energy is captured to drive our turbines to actually run our tire factory.
That's really interesting.
Which cuts out the need for coal in that situation. It's also a zero discharge plant, so all the steam and water produced, we're using that for the curing of our tires and everything else. So by integrating the carbon black plant with our tire plant, we've actually created the most sustainable carbon black plant in the world.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah. Some other sustainability highlights, between wind farms, solar, and other initiatives, we've reduced our non-renewable energy usage by over 16% in the 2020 and 2021 calendar years. I believe we have one of the most beautiful tire factories in the world. We plant over 500,000 trees in the area to green up the area in an overall arid desert environment. We've achieved almost 15% waste reduction in the last 3 years in our overall process. But we have a huge report on our website that covers all the aspects of ESG, and where we follow the GRI standard. So for all things BKT sustainability, please log in and take a look.
Sure. That carbon black manufacturing plant, is that located in India?
Yes, it is. It's in our flagship plant, Bhuj in Gujarat.
Very cool. Do you just curious? Do you ever have an opportunity to go to that plant and
Absolutely. Yeah, we invite people all the time to come visit. We always say seeing is believing. So yeah, you'll get a full tour of the carbon black plant, even at night. It looks amazing. But you get to go through the control center, follow the process, and like I said, it's a zero waste facility.
Very cool. So sitting here at end of 2023, what would you say is maybe the number one issue, the number one problem, number one challenge that you are helping your customers solve for, looking into the next year?
It's no different than any other year. Our sales and engineering staff, we want to go out and work with the dealers, visit the customers. So when it comes from the engineering side, we want to make sure we put in the right tires in the right applications. And we also work closely for forecasting as well and new product development to make sure we got the right tires available when they need them. So standard blocking and tackling.
Gotcha. Well, Chris, thank you so much for coming in today. I learned a lot, and I would love to revisit some of these topics maybe a year from now and see how things have evolved.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity, and we would love to host you in India and give you a full tour of our plants and the carbon black plant.
Thanks. I will take you up on that. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thank you all for joining us, and we will catch you next time.